availability of accessible building materials is the first step to construction, or let's say reconstruction, of the most of other sectors of economy, in a particular infrastructure which was already mentioned by my previous colleague, and infrastructure which is the arteries of the economy. It was very briefly described by Andrii and also other speakers who presented the investment project. But during this session, I'd like to share with you a key analytical information of building materials sector. What is the current damage of Ukraine? What amount of building materials will be required for reconstruction, and what amount of resources is required for construction? Probably these are key preconditions for development of and initial evaluation of investment projects in this sector. So the future rebuilding program will include the following areas, such as residential, non-residential, transport infrastructure, communication lines, and industrial complexes. The direct damage to the date is estimated as more than $110 billion US. But in the same time, the value needed for that recovery in current condition is evaluated as more than $187 billion. And at the time, for recovery at existing production pace is in between 5 years for communication line construction, and just would like to emphasize that almost 38 years for industrial complex and 55 years for residential sector construction. In all of these facts, the main point is that construction of residential property and industrial complexes is urgently needed by Ukrainian economy and is the hardest task nowadays. Thus, these two sectors of construction market are expected to become the main growth-forming groups in construction market in the following years. And as it takes decades to recover from the main damage entailed by Ukrainian business side, thus there is the necessity for international financial resources and investment in these sectors. The concept for development of building materials and construction sector introduces the investment opportunities on the whole value chain, beginning from the extraction industry, meaning that the extraction of raw materials for production of building materials, then actually processing of raw materials into final products, into building materials, and probably the last point of this chain is the logistic and distribution of the final product to the end user, like to the place for where will be implemented the construction. In the same way, there is an opportunities in the area of construction of housing, non-housing, and civil engineering projects, and also operation and maintaining of already implemented projects, and on the final point, deconstruction, waste processing, and recycling of building materials. All of us understand that at the same time, it is difficult to predict which kind of building materials will have highest demand and the best rate of return, but it's reasonable to take into consideration our previous trading data. The export of
Andrii,
building materials...
we cannot see your slides. Could you please make a full screen?
Sorry.
Andrii, while you're making, could you please check technical things? And I would like to introduce moderator of this session. Andrii is our first speaker, but moderator of this session is a great friend of UkraineInvest, not only friend, but also member of supervisory board. So Anna Derevyanka, she's the CEO of European Business Association. She is fighting hard for many years to make business environment in Ukraine as friendly to businesses as possible. She's a very active figure, and she's a very good person herself. So I would like to introduce Anna Derivanka just to say a couple of words as a moderator now, and then Andrii will sort out technical things and continue. And one more message before I disconnect, so I do not interfere anymore. At 1 p.m. we will have a parallel session on state property funds. So we will have a link now in the chat. So anyone who wants to listen to discussion between the newly appointed head of State Property Fund, Rustem Umerov, and the head of American Chamber of Commerce, please use that link. Anyone who is interested in construction materials, please stay put here. Dear Anna, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sergey. No problem at all. Actually, I could easily hand over to Andrii Pavliv. And I'm amazed actually to hear his presentation about construction sector. And I can tell you obviously that this is not going to be the news, that construction sector is going to be, in Ukraine, I mean, is going to be a driver of the whole global construction industry, I guess. So that's why it will be more than interesting to hear about what other companies are planning to do with regards to building up certain factories. What are their plans? And today during the session we will have 4 more fantastic speakers who are from business, and I hope that we will reveal this information about how Ukrainian sector and foreign companies and local companies have been preparing for the boom. But now, as far as I understand, Andrii has already sorted out all the issues connected to the technical issues connected to the presentation. So Andrii, I hand over to you again.
Thank you, and apologize for such technical things. Yeah, so I already mentioned about the value of the damage, of the direct damage that you can see on this slide, and then need for recovery for this damage, and the years to recover at domestic production pace. That for the residential sector, it takes for us like 55 years with the current pace. That's why we will definitely require the international support, international investment and international companies also to be involved in the such recovery. And this is the slide about the value chain I already mentioned, so I'll pass to the next slide. So that the export of building materials has a compound annual growth rate at 11.7% over the 2017-2021 period, and the wood sector that were mainly consisted on builders, joinery and carpentry of wood has the largest share in the total export during the last year of more than 26%. The second by its export is unglazed ceramic flags and paving, which has approximately 12% of its share in total export. The key point that such type of building materials observed the highest compound annual growth rate over 2017-2021, which is 109%. Talking about the import in a total trade of building materials, so it was amounted to 71% in 2021. Talking in general, the demand in investment is predicted by the market size of the sector. Depending on the type of construction, the direct construction cost of the project is in between 25 and 90%. Within this cost, the share of building material cost could be up to 50%. So, according to estimation, the total domestic market of building materials for the next 8 to 10 years is amounted to more than $50 billion. Considering all mentioned facts, the significant amount of private investment and financial aid in this sector will be needed in the nearest future. Reliance within rebuilding process will be on domestic producers who are located closer to the market. And the key focus in reconstruction project will be on building material producers. And finally, last but not least point in my presentation, that it is important to consider in the future rebuilding program the main green transition principle and trends which should correspond to the circular economy and sustainable development goals. Namely, it's energy efficiency, it's renewable energy, it's waste and carbon footprint reduction by enabling reuse and recycling, the use of non-toxic, ethical and sustainable materials, prolonging the life cycle of the building materials. This is the very short presentation of the building material sector and construction. And I hope that the next presentations of our next speakers, next companies with their real investment projects will be much more interested. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Andrii. I think it was absolutely clear message that yes, we would have lots of potential in construction area, but we would like to resolve this potential and open this potential by means of locally produced construction and building materials. So that's why it will be really very interesting to listen to the next speakers with real investment projects. And I would like to invite the first one to the floor, Mike Stenson, the head of Department of Innovations of Kingspan. And I would like just to make a short intro because the company Kingspan has just recently left the market of Russia, and you plan to build actually in Ukraine technological hub of construction materials in Ukraine. And the volume of your investments, from what we understand, would be around 200 million euros. And you plan to actually to implement it within the upcoming 5 years. It will be interesting to listen to the details of your plans. And what kind of cooperation or whether we will have the potential for cooperation in your project, please let us know as well.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And I hope you can see my screen.
As well.
So my name is Mike Stenson, and I work as the Group Director of Innovation and Future for the Kingspan Group. And just a few words about that before I get into the presentation proper. First of all, internally, we're calling this project around this investment, we call it Project Saoirse. Saoirse is a Gaelic word in Ireland, which translates as, I suppose, svoboda in your language in terms of freedom and so on. So it's a project that's of extreme importance in many dimensions to Kingspan. So a little bit about Kingspan before I change the slide. We're a global building materials company, headquartered in Ireland, founded about 55 or so years ago. We operate in more than 100 countries with 220 manufacturing locations and 20,000 employees. And we are the leading provider of, among other things, insulated sandwich panels that are used by logistic centers and logistic buildings all over the world. And we've had a sales office in Ukraine since 2008, and we cooperate on many projects there. We have a number of divisions with different product offerings, and all of those businesses have current capacity, if you like, in Eastern Europe. And over the last year, it's become obvious that there will be requirement for additional expansion of capacity over the next 3 years. So back in March, April, May, the board of directors took a view on this and decided in May to approve an investment in Western Ukraine. And in the next few slides, as you said, and I will explain a little bit about what's involved in that. So this is a project that I hope
it does move.
It does not move.
Mm-mm.
No, maybe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the project will be in the region of somewhere between $200 and $250 million. It'll be mainly self-funded from our own resources. It's going to be focused in a specific area in terms of Western Ukraine, around the city of Lviv. And based on the calculations we have done, there's a 5-year payback period, and probably it'll take us up to 5 years to fully implement it. But this could go faster. It depends, and it'll really be driven by end customer demand, both in Eastern Europe and in Ukraine. So a brief description of the project. We're calling it a construction technology campus in Western Ukraine, with, as I said, 250 million euros of dollars of investment. It'll be a 50-hectare site close to the city of Lviv. We will focus on exporting back into the EU of what we make, which is high-performing building materials that ultimately will reduce the carbon intensities that are in buildings today. And we know from lots of external agencies that buildings are responsible for about 40% of all CO2 emitted, and we have a very clear innovation program around how do we decarbonize the product set that we offer today, as well as working on new materials and new technologies that are zero carbon by definition. And there's lots of stuff internally going on in those areas. So the campus, and you can see a picture of it, or a model of it on the right hand side there. But effectively what we will have is, if you can see where my cursor is, here at the front, an advanced technology customer experience center, where we will have lots of possibilities of working with customers, training customers, designing applications with customers, as well as having some meeting rooms and customer experience centers. So we'll bring a lot of people in and out of the area, if you like, from both internally and from customers. And then we will have what I call 2 building material supply centers. Over on the left-hand side in yellow is what we would call a raw material site of about 40,000 square meters. And that would be to make raw material both for some of the factories that are on the campus, as well as supplying our factories across Czech, Hungary, Poland, Turkey, and so on. And then we will have a series of factories that correspond to the products that we actually manufacture, which you'll see in a little bit of detail on the next slide. But effectively, it'll be a combination of our products, and we're working on a very interesting project around including the co-development of a solar solution directly into our roofing panel. And it's our intention that we would make the solar modules. We're doing a joint development project on that at the moment. And the idea would be that those solar modules would get manufactured on that campus as well. So on the right-hand side of the slide, there's a suite of the solutions that we offer. It's all focused on the building envelope. And I've put a red line, if you like, under the products that will eventually get manufactured in the campus in Lviv. I suppose insulated panels, which I mentioned, where is a big part of our business, as is domestic insulation and office type insulation. Up on the right-hand corner, we recently acquired a company who make district heating systems, which again are very important parts of countries' decarbonization plans. They're urgently looking for capacity, so they probably will be the first business that will be located in that new technology campus. And they need a lot of space and lots of big pipes and so on and so on. We have a big business around what we call light and air, which is, as the name suggests, is around how do we get natural daylighting into buildings. We've lots of technical insulation for pipe work, for other technical aspects. We have this power panel, which is this integrated solar onto roof, and we have for data centers a whole selection of products around data and flooring. So all of those with the red line underneath it, the intention is that each of those units will have a factory in the campus over the next 4 to 5 years. So it'll be quite a widespread range of solutions that will be available both to Ukraine and to international customers out of there. The advantages of the project for us is that it will facilitate this expansion that we see and the growth for our group in Eastern Europe. If you like, from a local economy point of view, it will create a higher value-added export business from Ukraine back into the EU. And we see that, we've seen that in many countries we have invested and worked in over the last 20 to 30 years in Eastern Europe. And it will also obviously assist with the supply of construction materials for the post-invasion reconstruction of the Ukraine economy. And we are very focused on making that happen. We see the potential from a revenue plan over the next, I suppose, 7 or 8 years of getting up towards 400 million euro in revenue. And, we're not exactly certain, but probably 50% of that could be export-based. It might be more, it might be a little bit less, but our view is that it'll be somewhere around that. And the consumers of this material, based on what we've seen indeed in Ukraine today and in other countries where we are located, building owners, property developers, logistics centers, housing, commercial buildings, and then specifically on point 6 on cities and towns and villages and governments who might use district heating systems. But effectively, as I said, our main line of business historically has been around sandwich panels, and some of the other speakers talked about investments in logistics centers and the like, and that's obviously a big area for us. I've covered some of this, but the group, we're headquartered in Ireland, 7 billion euro in annual revenue last year. We've had a presence in the Ukraine, currently in Lviv. Our business is about supplying low carbon building envelope solutions, organized into 5 key divisions: insulated panels, insulation, daylighting, water and energy, and data and flooring. And if you go back to my slide, we have those red lines, which most of those divisions will have a facility in the new campus. And as I finish up, I'd like to, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to discuss and explain this a little bit today. And second of all, the work we've done with UkraineInvest so far, since we made this announcement back at the end of May, gives us tremendous, let's say, encouragement that we can realize this project in the near term. And for that's very good. So thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, actually, for your efforts, and obviously this is very important for the economy of Ukraine to have your company inside. And just for you to know, most likely you might know that European Business Association, which represent around 1,000 member companies in Ukraine, is also present in Western Ukraine, actually in Lviv. So just in case you would have certain issues as well to consider and also to raise with local authorities, just please feel free to let us know so that we can actually help to facilitate the practical things for your project to go fast. My question to you is: were you afraid actually to expand in Ukraine currently, even provided we have this martial law in place?
I think.
What pushed you to take this decision?
I think, we made the decision based on the fact that we needed additional expansion. And historically, what has happened is each of those divisions would do their own thing. And the group decided that maybe as we look into the future, we should put together in a big campus, because it's unusual in our industry, right, let's say. And we then had a choice of where we would do it. And Western Ukraine appealed to us because of proximity back into the EU, as well as an opportunity to really grow our brand and build our business in Ukraine. Now, of course, the current war is there, and it's something that obviously we'll have to take account of in terms of precisely how and when we will build. But there's lots of work we can do in terms of preparing and designing and development, and we've appointed a project team to help us do that, made of international companies with strong presence in Ukraine, and we're very committed to do that. To be fair, because we feel it's needed, and it can also help the local economy once we get up and running.
Totally agree, and I see actually how other companies as well, they continue doing their business in Ukraine, especially in Western Ukraine. So basically, I cannot say that it's in mainstream actually to come and bring money already now, but nevertheless, obviously, the wisest most likely are making this. So preparation phase is something which is needed.
Yeah, we have just to finish out. I mean, we are very close to choosing. I mean, some of us spent some time in the Lviv area in the last month or so. So we're very close to choosing a location and a site, and you know, there will be some infrastructural additions that will be needed, and we'll have to work with the local authorities and the relevant people to do that. And we, you know, hopefully in the next month or so, we might be in a position to choose a particular site. And again, as I said, we can really move in terms of making the plans and then take a more formal decision around, do we start construction, depending on how the war situation is, say, next spring.
And with regard, like some final comment from my side with regards to logistics. Obviously, logistics is also very important to you in order to export also from Ukraine. And just for you to know, apart from all current being prepared projects in logistical sphere, just for you to know that we have East-West logistics terminal already available. And from what we hear from our colleagues is like SpaceX in logistics industry in Ukraine. There is only 3 or 4 such type terminals in Europe, so that's also maybe one of the things you can consider in your operational activity.
Super, perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I would like to hand over to Matvey Isichenko. He is like co-ideologist of the company Silverland. And the company plans to build the plant of production of floating glass. And the amount of investments will be also around $200 million. So to be more precise, $195 million. So Matvey, could you please step in and actually explain to us what are the details and peculiarities of your project and where could be the areas for cooperation with other businesses?
Hello everyone, I'm just trying to sort out the demonstration of my screen. Just 1 second.
While you are fixing your technical things, I would like just to know that this future plant will produce 750 tons of floating glass per day, actually. So that's why the goal is to produce as much which will be needed in Ukrainian market to cover all the needs to rebuild the economy. And now we have presentation in place, right?
All right, great. Can you see it, right?
Yes.
Great. Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the construction of a glass factory using float technology. To start with, I would like to explain quickly what is the actual float glass and how is it made. Float glass is made by floating molten glass on a bed of molten tin. The molten glass spreads onto the surface of the metal and produces a high quality, consistently level sheet of glass that is later cut into required sizes. This method gives the glass uniform thickness and a very flat surface. Glass produced in this way does not have waves and distortions. This technique can continuously produce glass 24/7. It is therefore a river of glass that exits the furnace before being cooled as it progresses along its path of around 300 meters and is then cut into large sheets. The float glass production process can be divided into 5 universal steps. Number 1 is batching of raw materials. Number 2 is melting of raw materials in the furnace. Number 3 is drawing the molten glass onto the tin bath. Number 4 is cooling of the molten glass in the annealing chamber called a layer. And the 5th one is the quality checks, automatic cutting, and storage. We are ready to complete a 750 tons float glass project using the latest know-how in molten tin float baths and technologies for applying a hard type coating CVD on the line. The clients decide whether it will be soft, like a magnetron sputtering, and hard ceramic CVD coating. Each type of coating has its advantages and disadvantages, but the use of CVD coating is distinguished by its long-term use, reliability, and faster return on investment. We are considering an innovative CVD coating system that allows you to combine coatings of different types on one sheet of glass. This means a significant improvement in glass performance. So yeah, the total investment amount will be around 195 million euros, which includes 19.5 million euros of own investment, which is about 10% from total. Following the account scenario, which our team researched and been proved by the producer of machinery, the internal rate of return that we get in a 5-year period is 10%. The NPV is 30.2 million euros. And finally, the EBITDA margin is 31%. Out of this, we can get a payback period for no more than 4 years of time. The project implementation takes 2 years at most from the moment of first payment and got a particular scenario of implementation stages. Starting from searching the investment, going to construction of buildings and structures, as well as purchasing and manufacturing the technological equipment, followed by determination of the optimal raw material base and labor market, and leading to the supply of energy carriers, finishing with the production tests. The structure of glass production by types. The variety of glass types and coating combinations that is possible to produce is fairly diverse. And for market research, we choose the most common ones that the market is used to. They are the standard architectural glass, reflective gold, reflective titanium, energy-saving glass for hot climates, self-washable glass, glass for solar panels, and energy-saving low-emission glass, which, by the way, is now the most popular on the Ukrainian market, but it's almost impossible to buy it at the moment as of a huge deficit in production in Europe. Also, the ultra-clear glass and strained glass. All the calculations were made by our team with the float line performance at 750 tons of glass melt per day, which is 75,000 square meters of gross volume of the glass, with its thickness of 4 millimeters, and is a maximum, but a possible maximum, as the coefficient of efficiency is 1. So there is no timing lost on human factor. Although the yield of useful product has a different and particular value for each type of glass, depending on the industrial waste. A couple of words about the project benefits. Starting from the absence of competitors on the Ukrainian market at all, and their small number on the European market. The second one is the placement of our factory for the production of flawed glass on the territory of a new industrial park in the Mukachevo district of the Zakarpattia region, with direct access to cross-border cooperation with Slovakia, Romania, Hungary, and Poland. Such placement has its own priorities because of the proximity to the borders, will contribute to the expansion of foreign economic relations and significantly reduce transport and logistics costs. The modern infrastructure of the industrial park. The building area for the plant is about 19 hectares, which will allow to expand for the new innovative processes. The third benefit I can mention is a unique modern production technologies from the technical partner of the project that meets global standards of quality, energy saving, environmental friendliness, safety, and long-term use. We work only with the best. The equipment manufacturing company is a company with more than 30 years of experience in the field of developing glass production and coating technologies. By choosing them, we receive constant support during planning, construction, commissioning of the plant, application of equipment for the production of high-quality glass. The fourth benefit is a wide range of uses of manufactured products, from the construction industry to using in the manufacture of electronic displays and touch screens. Flawed glass is used not only in the architectural and construction industry, although the glass production for this industry has its own priorities. CVD technology allows you to make glass with a light reflecting, sun protective coating, as well as self-cleaning glass. On the other hand, flawed glass is used for household appliances, cars, furniture, electronic displays and touch screens, and even for solar panels. Finally, the fifth benefit would be a quick and high quality satisfaction of the needs of domestic market during the construction of new and restoration of damaged objects, and in the future entering the international market with the aim of development, the export of manufactured products. As of the beginning of 2022 until February the 24th, the daily demand for flawed glass was about 1,200 tons per day and was fully met by external sources of supply. Independent production will allow us to meet our own needs in a shorter period of time, significantly reduce dependence on foreign suppliers, and in turn contribute to the post-war recovery of our country. In the future, the production of high quality as well as large variety of products will allow the company to become an exporter of produced glass and present Ukrainian production to the general public, providing the needs of the world market in flawed glass for various purposes. Just a quick overview of the market. There are around 50 to 60 manufacturers of double glazed windows and 300 to 350 window manufacturers in Ukraine. Before a full-scale invasion, Ukraine imported about 80% of its glass from Russia and Belarus. The war and the trade embargo against the Russian Federation has stopped these supplies completely. Then before the war, the Ukrainian market's demand for glass was around 28 to 30 million square meters per month, and our potential enterprise will satisfy at least 50% of the total need. The growing trend to replace brick, cement, and the granite facades and other building elements with stylish and colorful glass in residential and commercial buildings will also drive the growth of the flat glass market. The rapid development of the construction industry can stimulate the development of the industry and increase the demand for glass products. Talking about the export volume and export growth potential. The global flat glass market will show growth until 2027. The size of the global flawed glass market exceeds $105 billion in 2020, and GMI estimates that it will grow by more than 8% annually from 2021 to 2027, reaching $180 billion by the end of the forecast period. This will be primarily due to the growing environmental concerns that will require a change in attitudes towards waste management and the unlimited possibilities of glass in terms of recycling, promoting its use in various end uses, as well as the popularity of the concept of green buildings, increasing demand for energy efficient, durable, and cost-effective products, along with a shift in consumer preference towards glass in interior and exterior building structures to improve the aesthetics of buildings, could further drive the market growth. A special technology for the production of tempered glass, which is widely applicable in the production of household appliances and other equipment, will, with frequent exposure to high temperatures, will be sold for 30% of the company's total sales to the European market, sales of which are already pre-provided by the equipment manufacturer, as there is an uncovered shortage. Also, the potential consumers of Ukraine. The 4 manufacturers of double glazed windows, including Steco, Equipage, Vicomte, and Lille Glass, have their own window production. In total, their share accounts for approximately 40% of the Ukrainian market. All the domestic manufacturers of double glazed windows work on imported glass, which is very important. A couple of words about the company owner and the ideologist of the project.
Maybe very quickly, Matvey, because really we are just running out of time, and there are a few questions to you as well. And since all presentations will be available to the public, to the participants, obviously you will be able to share the missing slides. So either you go very quickly or just send the presentation afterward.
This is the last slide, but
good.
But if you like, we can finish.
No, but we can see here that Andrii is a company owner, right? Okay.
Yeah. Our owner, Andrii Sichenko, is the ideologist of this project and has implemented some business projects and achievements. And the first one was the development of sand quarries. He managed sand enrichment projects, including the hydro enrichment and drying, the results of which was a change in the quality of sand to a higher level from foundry to glass. Successful commercial activity by which the company proved itself as a reliable supplier of high quality raw materials for Ukrainian consumers. And also the production of soft polypropylene packaging. He's the founder and the founder director of Global Invest Systems company, which is located in the Kharkiv region, and which is the leader in the market of polypropylene products. Basically, that's it.
Okay. If I would have 90% of your investment project cost, you convinced me. I would definitely invest. Then the question to you from the audience: does your technology rely on natural gas for production of glass? And how does glass industry actually cope with the prices and the natural gas prices rises these days?
Yeah, exactly. This is a pretty big problem for today because the cost of making the glass actually is on 70% is reliable on the glass. Or on the gas, sorry. There is a big problem for today with the gas, and you all know it. But the amortization for this is that we are all in the same field, and all the European producers have the same problems for today as we would expect in the Ukraine, because we have not all been prepared for it. But the prices for glass will grow for sure. Will be more and more with every month until we get this question with the gas resolved. But we're all in the same.
But the question most likely will not be resolved in the coming several months minimum, and let's see how it's going to be resolved in the future. But the point is, will your project will be profitable just in case we have the current level of natural gas prices, or it kills the profitability completely?
It will be profitable just for the reason that we're all on the same field, so the prices will go up and up for everybody. For us, the same as Poland, the same as Bulgaria, where the other glass factories are located. So yeah, the prices will go higher, and hopefully we stay with the same margin.
Good. And when it comes to this missing 90% of investments, do you have already somehow ready-made solutions of where you're going to get this 90% of money, or you are just still exploring?
We are still exploring, but we have all this project ready with our supplier who is from the USA, and we're chatting to all the investors that we could. For now, we have this huge project of this factory. This is just a little touch of the project, and we have explored a lot in this. and we're trying to present to the maximum number of investors for today. Yeah, so we're still exploring.
And the main challenge would be which?
The main challenge in the
to get investments would be which, like war in Ukraine, or natural gas prices, or what can stop you from actually getting investments in place?
Well, hopefully people will like our presentation. We explained we can explain all the economical part of the project with the forecasts in the gas costs, in the limestone costs, the sand costs, and etc. We'll tell you all the economics, and hopefully we'll find somebody who believes in us, and I think the glass factory is essential for building in.
Good, thank you very much, Matvey. So let's move on. We have the next speaker, Oleg Marchuk. He is the founder of Gipsfabrik Group, and actually we will be listening to the presentation of the production of dry construction mixtures. Доброго дня. You will speak in Ukrainian?
Українською.
Да, чудово.
In Ukrainian, okay. So we will be happy to listen to the details of your project, because in the intro we have information that it accounts for $5 billion that you plan to invest, and 60,000 tons per year, which accounts for 5% of the Ukrainian market, is significant. But can you please tell us about whether you have full portfolio of money, or are you still looking for partners? Good afternoon. Once again, I am happy to see all of you here and to be on this panel. As of now, we have partly implemented a project. We have built a plant in Western Ukraine, in Ivano-Frankivsk region, which produces dry construction mixtures. As of now, we have invested $3.4 billion, and we wanted to reinvest some of the money from other businesses that we also have with our partners. If I have time, I will tell you about our other businesses in the end of my presentation. But right now, we understand that we don't have enough time. The demand for our production grows. About 80% of the market, which existed before the war, those companies that are located in eastern Ukraine, in Donetsk, there were a lot of companies that produce dry construction mixtures, but right now, of course, they don't work. And also the import of these products is limited through Black Sea seaports. We think that our location is quite useful, quite beneficial. We are located in the west of Ukraine, where it is relatively calm. And our production is located 500 meters from a powerful and high quality gypsum quarry. That is why we want also create a vertically integrated business and to produce not only dry construction mixtures, but also gypsum products for our own needs, and also to sell it. Our project is in the active stage of realization, of implementation. I'm now located in my favorite office. We have ordered a lot of equipment to start our work. We would really like to speed up this process. The process of launching the project. And I thought to speed up the process of Ukrainian victory, right? Yes, of course, it goes without saying. This is
Так, щоб довго не відволікатись, я з Дніпра.
so I am from Dnipro, and 800 meters from my office today, there was a very negative event like a shelling, and that is why I really hope that we will win soon. But as far as I understand, your project will be implemented and will be moving forward, no matter at which stage the war is. Yes, you are right. Right now, we are making a small amount of orders that we receive from companies that start rebuilding Kyiv, Sumy Oblast. We even want
трошки посунути наших місцевих
to push our local clients that are used for our projects in Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast and to produce more for recovery.
Це саме якісні гіпсові штуки.
High quality materials which are necessary to be sent to the east for the liberated territories, such as products as plaster and others. So we have a waiting line for our products, but we cannot speed up the process. Our business plan has been developed from today, and we take into account the worst scenarios.
Деякі важелі, які можуть вплинути.
We take into account some things that might impact our production.
Ще раз скажу, на
I
даний
would
час
also like to say that as of now, we have invested $3.4 billion. The total value, the total price for launching is $5.5 billion. By the way, can banks take part in implementation of these projects? Can they provide their credit money, or it will cost too much for your project? We have the experience of using loaned money for other projects with quite a high profits. We have a business. This year, we hope it will generate about almost 500,000 million hryvnia. So that is why we don't have problems with these. Our plant has started working, but it's not producing much right now. The banks are looking at our plant as at a startup, and they're not eager to invest into startups. And second, we have the situation, one of the investors has a smaller percentage. He's from Australia, and having such a great co-investor, we have never been part of state programs of loans, because we have this investor who has 17% in our business and has invested a lot of money. But we didn't know that it would become such a big challenge for communication with banks. So we have what we have, let me put it this way. And the cost is quite high, but there are programs 597, 579. Yes, it doesn't work in this case if there are beneficiaries who are not residents of Ukraine. Now I understand. Of course, we need to take that into account. Maybe Sergei will pay that into account because he works actively at attracting investments, but this is a very important thing that needs to be taken into account. So he has a commentary on that? Yes, of course, but it depends on whether the project is ready to work in the paradigm of the global investment cooperation. And secondly, we will work with you. We will help you develop, but of course we need to focus on the business so you reach the level when you are attractive to investors. Right now we have a huge amount of requests from private investments. Investor funds, right now there are 2 funds for the amount of $1 billion for the American companies. Right now they are looking for projects, and there is a list of projects. It is much easier to work with them than with international financial organizations, but still we need to be part of the criteria. That is why we invited you here, because we see the potential in your company, and we need to just help you develop. It will take just a couple of months.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is exactly why we exist, why we work. We will continue working with you. Oleg, sorry, I will have to give the floor over to another participant, because we will have another panel at 1 p.m. And of course, I wish you all the best. I believe that everything will be good. So, Anna, thank you so much. Dear participants, please invest into Ukrainian business, and we hope that we'll become part of the global business. Okay, I will ask Andrii to comment on the question in the chat about raw materials, not to waste your time. And I would like to invite Georgi Idiatulin, owner and chief of board at Genesis Engineering.
Unmute. Не чутно вас. О, ні.
Так, добрий день. Я буду говорити українською мовою.
Good afternoon, I will speak in Ukrainian. I am happy to see all the participants of the conference. First of all, I would like to thank organizers of this event for this excellent opportunity, because the economic development of Ukraine is very important right now. Taking into account all the damages that we incurred, we need to rebuild the country, and we also need to develop after our victory. I would also like to thank the Chamber of the Kirovograd Oblast for our participation here. I won't take much of your time, just a couple of minutes, because as far as I understand, I'm the latest speaker today. Okay, yes, we'll listen to the State Property Fund. Yes, it is very important. So it was during the parallel session because they had to leave before. Okay, I see it. Thank you. I hope that you can see my presentation on the screen. Yes, of course, we see it. Excellent. Our company today is engaged into developing our project to build a floored glass facility in Ukraine. It will be much easier for me because the previous speaker told you a lot about all this. It means that I will have to tell you about our project in details. The total investment amount is $250 million. The payback period is 10 years, and the project implementation period will take up to 3 years, taking into account of the global situation with logistics. Financial details you can see on the screen: IRR 11.28%, NPV $237.7 million, EBITDA margin 28%. Our plant, our facility will have a high quality modern production of floored glass according to EU standards, and we want to be export oriented. Today we have quite a big lack of floored glass in the world. And as you've said, the expected growth is 8% per year. Today, we don't have plants in Ukraine. There is a high demand, 100% of import, and we also have destroyed infrastructure that we would like to renew. We will produce 18 million of square meters of glass per year. It will be transparent float glass from 2 to 19 millimeters thick with different colors. It will be also tinted, anti-reflective, self-cleaning, energy efficient, and others. We will create 340 jobs. The land plot dimensions are equal to 38 hectares. I would like to say that we are planning to build a plant in the central part of Ukraine, which will give us a good balance of access to high quality raw materials and also to our key market, target market, inside and outside. We're exactly in the central part of Ukraine. We plan in Kirovohrad Oblast.
І також однією з особливостей нашого проєкту це використання сучасного обладнання для зменшення викидів шкідливих речовин.
We also plan to reduce emissions of harmful substances into the atmosphere, as well as have a system of recuperation of fuel gases. It will help us decrease energy consumption, to use efficiently energy, and positively impact, reduce negative impact on the environment. What are the advantages of our project? This is a professional team that will organize the construction of the plant and coordinate all the necessary documents. Our key partners in this project, this is a comprehensive supply of equipment and technology, a German company with experience in creating similar production facilities both in Europe and the CIS countries. The company that will implement this project is a Ukrainian company with experience in designing similar plants. As I have already told you, another advantage of our project is using of equipment to reduce emissions of harmful substances into the atmosphere up to 70% according to EU standards. It will let us correspond to the EU standards for such plants and recuperate fuel gases. Brief market overview. Right now, $105 billion. So this is the global float glass market volume. The Ukrainian market volume as of 2021 was $200 million, and it was depending on import. The export gross potential is 6.5% in the EU, because right now there is a lack of such glass, not only in Ukraine, but all over the world. Our key buyers, these are those who take part in building, those who need it for cars, and many other users. Glass is one of the three key components for building, including steel and beton, concrete. These are key three ingredients for building. We plan for the first year not less than $40 million to get from exports of our products, and every year we plan to increase these. As for our team since 2014 has been working in the sphere of engineering projects, of railway rolling stock, and also supply of spare parts for passenger cars and metro cars. More than 20 projects of freight cars has been implemented, which include freight cars, railway cars, their systems, elements, and so on and so forth. Our company has a great business reputation. We hasn't received a single complaint from our partners, and our key clients are Ukrzaliznytsia, Kyiv subway, as well as railway building, repairing companies in Ukraine, and we also work on the markets of Poland and Kazakhstan. We have selected all the necessary key people in our companies. These are project managers, the key technologists, and all the others. You can read all this information on the screen. You can also see our contacts on the screen, and you will also have them if you contact UkraineInvest. That is why I hope that this project will be interesting. It is very important for Ukraine. That's it from me for now. There was also a project, there was also a question about hydrogen as an element for construction. Can you comment on that? Burning hydrogen leads to excessive wetting of the raw materials. So that is why, of course, there is such work in studying hydrogen, but as of now, there is not a single industrial company that would use hydrogen. This was a question from the audience, and I hope Andrii answered the question about the raw materials.
Sure. I will switch to English again. So thank you so much, everyone, for making these very interesting presentations and sharing your insights. Obviously, I wish everyone to have success in terms of getting and raising money to make your projects available. And obviously, we need you actually developing your projects in Ukraine, because the economy of Ukraine really needs to be restored. I would like to thank UkraineInvest and Sergei as well for this very active and dynamic work which you are undertaking. I'm so happy to be on board of UkraineInvest, and now I'm happy to hand over again to Sergei.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you, all speakers. So we are going to summarize the whole event now. Couple of comments. So that was our first event of the series of the events, and we will be running this platform on a monthly basis with different topics, different angles, different projects, but with one main purpose: to promote Ukraine and to show you real opportunities, not the ideas, not concepts of some projects that can be implemented in the future, but straight away right now. So, couple of conclusions. Ukraine is open for business. There is no need to wait till end of war. Projects are starting now, and it takes time to plan your project. So get in touch with UkraineInvest, with our partners in government or chambers of commerce, and we'll be happy to support you. Government of Ukraine actively working on development of regulatory policy in terms of bringing it closer to investors, making it friendlier to investors. And I am positive that Ukraine will become a breakthrough investment destination in the coming months and years. We would like to thank all our partners that made this event possible today, specifically our general partner, International Chamber of Commerce, headquarters of this organization that are based in Paris, and Ukrainian the part of ICC. Also American Chamber of Commerce, European Business Association, UVCA, EUEA, Ukrainian Union of Entrepreneurs, SIBE, Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce, Investment Monitor, National Investment Council of Ukraine, Enterprise Greece, Enterprise Estonia, Canadian Chamber of Commerce, US-Ukraine Chamber of Commerce, and all other organizations that supported us. Today, you have watched presentations. All presentations will be downloaded in our data room, and link will be sent to all participants. Also, you will receive a link to UkraineInvest Guide. This is updated document that will include information about all investment projects that were presented, and additional ones that we just simply had no time to include in our presentations today. You can also see the information about regulatory policy or any investment incentives that are available today. So once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for participation. I look forward to seeing you in the near future. And once again, Ukraine is open for business. Let's do it together. I wish everyone good health and good remaining of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergei. Slava Ukraini. All the best.
Героям слава.